should think twice. Would you wanna be like you? How you gonna reply? Would you wanna be like you?
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a pink lemonade cut crease type of eye makeup look. I'm going to show you how I do it from start to finish, and I will be showing you also using, just closed it now, I can't get it open, the Norvina 4 palette from Anastasia. It's the Norvina line, but it's basically from Anastasia. And then I probably will be playing around with these cake liners as well. I actually have used it in a few looks already, but I'll be showing you on camera how I use it. It's actually pretty simple. If you use anything like this, any type of product like this, I mean, they're all the same kind of. I like this one. Like I said, I've used it and played around with it. I like it. Some of them, a lot of people find that they crack. I don't find that with this one, especially white. White is the hardest color to get right when it comes to eyeliner because it cracks very easily. This, I don't find that to be true. And I feel like it's pretty opaque. It says opaque white on there, and it is pretty opaque. You don't really have to build it up a crazy amount. So let's get started. So I have my base down. It's my tried and true, my P. Louise Rumor Zero base. And as you can see, I'm making a little bent in there. So I have that set down. My eyelids are a little stained. I did a Pride makeup look today. I'll insert a picture, and I used literally a rainbow. So now my eyelids are stained, and you can kind of see a little bit of that color peeking through, but it's okay. We're just gonna layer more color on top of it, so we'll be okay. I'm going to be dipping into this color here. This is B2, and I am taking, this is actually an eyebrow brush from Anastasia. This is, the name is worn off, but it is one of their eyebrow brushes. I like something that's really small and flat, and I always start with like a rough line of where I want the color to be placed. I know this doesn't necessarily scream pink lemonade, but I'm going to be layering brighter and more vivid pinks. So I'm just using this to start out for a little bit more like dimension. And in no way or shape or form is this like a dark color, but I personally like starting out with all my makeup looks doing a darker color first. I don't really know what that technique is called like per se, but I always call it like the British technique, because a lot of people in the UK do that, where they have their darkest color first and then they work up to their lightest color. Personally, I think that method of doing things is like more impactful. It isn't so beginner friendly, but it definitely packs a punch. So now I'm going in with that same color. I don't have it on the brush, but I'm going into that same color with another eyeshadow angled brush. And this one's slightly a little bit fluffier. And then with that same color, that B2 color. And then because this is a little bit fluffier, it will make it a little easier for blending. Cut creases, whether it be like a full cut crease or a half cut crease or a double cut crease or literally any form of a cut crease. And they are intimidating, don't get me wrong, but it just takes practice. And that's why I personally like to kind of carve out where I'm going to place that cut crease first. And then also if I kind of have like a little rough draft of where I'm going to place it, it gives me an idea of what I'm gonna do, so that if I need to change or modify the shape or whatnot, I can do it in that step. Blending brush, relatively small. This is a Morphe M507, and I'm taking still that same B2 color. And now I'm just gonna blend a little bit more. I will say this is actually my first time really like diving into this palette. You can kind of see there is a little bit of kick up in the palette, but it's like that in the typical like regular Anastasia formula, so I'm not like super surprised about it, to be honest. I think I'm gonna go in with this color here, and it's called C5. So I kind of like how each color is named like that, with like a letter and a number, because when I go to list the like actual shades I'm using, it's a lot easier. Okay, so now I'm going into E1 right here, and then I'm just using, oh, okay. I'm using this on the edges. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of kick up in the pan. I don't mind it per se, and I can't say I'm too surprised. Like I said, the Anastasia palettes are like that as well. So since this is pretty much technically Anastasia, I can't say I'm too surprised. Some people don't like that though, because if there's a lot of kick up in the pan, that means you're more than likely going to run through product faster, which I do feel like is true. But it's not like a deal breaker for me. As long as I don't run through it so fast to the point where there's literally no point of buying it, because then I'll only have it in a month and then it'll be gone. Then that's a little extra. Okay, so then now I'm just going to take a clean, fluffy brush and blend out all those edges. I feel like that's really important for having blended eyeshadow. Go in with a clean brush and just buff out those edges. So I'm actually going to go in with E4 right here. And I'm just going to place this right on that line. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, and I'm even getting a lot of fallout on my eyes. So if you're someone who does face first, this might be a problem. I always do my eyes first. I've pretty much always been that way. The only time I'll do my base first is if I'm wearing very minimal eye makeup. But if you are, and happen to be one of the few who does their face makeup first, then just put a setting powder down so that it'll catch any of the fallout. But I will say these colors are blending very easily, very nicely. Okay, so you might be able to see I do have quite a bit of fallout on my lid, so I'm definitely gonna want to like clean that up. So what I do is I take a cotton swab and some makeup remover, place it on the cotton swab, and then I go in and I clean up. I feel like my line for my cut crease is pretty sharp, but this will definitely help like redefine that line. And I'm still gonna go in with concealer, but at least this has helped give me kind of like a little bit of a guide. Now here's the fun part. I'm going to be taking my base on my small flat brush and just carving out my cut crease. I've said this in previous videos, but you know, I'll say it again for anyone who is new here or who hasn't watched any of my previous videos. I personally like a smaller brush. I've seen a lot of artists use a large brush, still of this shape. Typically you want to use something with like a curved like shape to it, because your eye is curved, so it definitely hugs the curve of your eye better. But I personally like a smaller brush. I'm sorry doing talking. I personally like a smaller brush because I feel like it can get me a little bit more precision. Say like if I have a larger brush and I make a mistake, it's gonna take a lot longer and it's gonna take more effort to try to fix that, as opposed to if I have a smaller brush like this and I make a mistake, smaller mistake, smaller mess to have to, you know, clean up. Like I've seen people using brushes like this. Just this one is, like I said, same shape, just a bit bigger, and using for their cut creases. Now I'm just using it on my lid where I have a bigger space that I can work with so I can cover more area. I'd rather sit there and take a little bit more time carving out my crease and know that I'm covered if I make a mistake, as opposed to using a bigger brush, getting more area covered, but also having a higher risk of making a mistake. Okay, so in this palette there is no white, but I do want a little bit of white. This is what it looks like. This here, it looks like white. It's a glitter. These two right here, E2 and E3 are glitters. I don't think I'm going to use them today, not really for this look. I'm going to be taking from the Jawbreaker palette from Jeffree Star, Virgin. It is one of my favorite white eyeshadows on my Morphe M326. Looks like that. It's a little fluffy, but it's, I mean, I use it mostly as like a packing brush. Okay, so I'm literally just going to be taking my Anastasia eyebrow brush again, and I'm going to be taking that darkest E4 color and making a little wing. I'm eventually gonna have it kind of like connect in, but for now, I'm gonna have this curve up a little bit so it kind of has that curve, like, there we go. I'm taking that E4 color again, and I'm going to be using, I don't even know what I would call this, to be honest, but it's kind of like a smaller rounded like packing brush. This is the kind of brush I typically use for doing inner corner highlight, but I need something kind of small. All right, so then I'm going to take my color switch and I'm just rubbing that in here just to knock off the pigment. I talked about this in my brush video. I love it. It is so useful. They make dupes of it at like Walgreens and CVS, so you don't necessarily have to get a Veramona color switch, but that's just what I happen to have. Do like a little bit of a gradient. These two colors, I will say, are like kind of similar. At first I didn't see too much variation between the two. Now I do see a little more variation. C5. There are 25 colors in these palettes in the Norvina like volume, the big ones, and they're 60 bucks each, so they're not cheap. I will say they're not cheap, but you get 25 colors. The pan sizes look like they're pretty big. I'm gonna go back in with that B2 color, the last color I just used, because I'm kind of losing it a little bit here. This E1 color again, and from what I remember it was pretty bright, although it's not the brightest pink that's in here. The brightest pink that's in here, which I'm not going to be using, is this baby. This is E5. That one's almost like borderline and neon. Like I said, I'm gonna go in with a white. Norvina Cake liner, and for this I'm definitely gonna need a small brush. So I'm gonna be taking my setting spray, spraying the cake liner. I'm going to go in with that E4 color again on my eyebrow brush. And I'm going to give myself a little bit, because I want to kind of do like a little bit of a white line over here as well. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of room. And I'm not going to breathe. So I'm going to give myself a little bit of a room. I'm going to add that white liner. Make sure that you have a lot of water or setting spray sprayed on it. You'll be good, but it does not crack. I like that. I like how it's more of like a creamy formula. So good job, Anastasia. Darkest color, that E4 color, once again from my Anastasia or Norvina Volume 4 palette, and I'm just going to pack it on with what is this, Morphe M508. It looks like these with that brush. And since I know there is a lot of kick up and fallout with this, I'm going to tap off the excess and stamp the product on, because I know this is a shade, and even just like a formula in general, that's gonna give me a little bit of problems if I'm not careful. And I already did my base makeup. I'm not gonna lie, it's like almost midnight and I'm filming this, and I do not want to, you know, bother with doing like bronzer and blush and highlight and, you know, this, that, and next. So honestly, I'm literally only just wearing like a tinted moisturizer and a little concealer under my eyes, because I'm sorry, but like I'm literally, as soon as I'm done filming this and, you know, get a good picture, I'm gonna wipe this off. So I'm not really gonna bother with trying to go the whole 9 yards. You know, you have a question or you want to know like product I used or whatnot, just feel free to ask. I try to answer back pretty quickly. I'm just blending it out with the brush, and then I'm gonna go in, actually I'm probably just gonna take that same like small blending brush. I'm gonna go in with C5, this color right here, just to get the edges. Personally, I love a blown out like eye look. I think it just looks like, just ties everything together. I don't know, I just really like that look, but you don't have to bring it down quite as low. If you can see, I have a line under both of my eyes, so technically I probably shouldn't be bringing it so low, but I like that look. So now is like the fun part. I am going to take on my little, I like to use this for my inner corner, like highlight and whatnot. Using my Louise base, I'm just gonna take like a little dabble, if I can get it out. Okay, there we go. In the inner corner, because I'm going to be using that yellow little brush. This one's angled. I mean, you know, you use whatever you gotta do. I'm gonna place it in the inner corner. Yeah, it's definitely one you're gonna want to build up. But honestly, all yellows are like that, so once I'm building it up, though, it looks like it's, you know, got a little something to it. So I'm just gonna take like a brush like this. It's clean. I mean, I think there's a little excess powder in there. It's all right though, but it's clean. It's not gonna disrupt anything. And I'm just removing any of the fallout. There's really not too much, luckily. If you tap off your brush before you place down color, you will make it so that you don't have fallout. Okay, so this is the finished look. Like I said, I did not really feel like doing my bronzer, contour, the whole shebang, but like this was mostly focusing on my eye makeup. So this is the finished eye makeup. I mean, honestly, from what I'm looking over at my laptop right here. From what I'm looking at, it looks pretty decent considering I really did not want to focus on the skin too much. So I don't know if this is necessarily like a pink lemonade type of look. The eyeshadow actually looks a little more purple than I was expecting. So it leaned a little more purple, and I definitely used more of like the pinkier shades. but I like it. I like how it came out. I like the shape that I was able to create. I like the inner corner pop. Like I said, that's definitely a color you're gonna have to work with and build up a little bit. If you have a white eyeshadow base, even better. So I used, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shades out of this palette, and they're 25. So I used this one the other day on one of my eye makeup looks, and it's really pretty. I like it a lot. I think I'm gonna get a lot of good use out of this palette. I mean, for sure, for $60, like, I'm gonna definitely get a lot of use out of this palette. And the cake liner I really enjoy as well. I've only used the white so far, but the white is always like the trickiest to formulate and to deal with. So if the white works really well, then I'm pretty sure all the other colors are going to work really well. I didn't get the other cake liner because I have the Suva Beauty liners that are like basically the exact same thing as this. So I don't need repeat shades. Honestly, I bought it mostly because I don't have white and purple. I do have another orange liner from Suva Beauty, but you know, it's okay. I do feel like I would definitely get a lot of use out of the orange, and I love the formula of this for sure. So good. And I like how, like, the packaging of it, can kind of be a pain in the butt because they just like literally like slide. So it looks like this, and they literally just like slide. I don't know if you're familiar with Melt Cosmetics and their eyeshadow stacks. It's kind of like that. Some people don't like that packaging. A lot of people actually don't like that packaging. So that's why they're doing a lot of like the palettes now. But this seems, I don't know, it's okay. I kind of just keep it out on my desk, so I don't really have a problem with it. I feel like I'm so out of practice. It's only been a week, but like, gosh, I feel like I lost my... All right, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe for more beauty videos just like this, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much, guys.
You should think twice, would you wanna be like you?